Okay, so today we're going to identify some common errors and then correct them and answer the equation correctly. It's called error analysis. All right, so I'm going to write down, in the first one, I'm going to write down what they did to get their answer. And then from there, we won't be doing that. Let me show you. So I'm going to put a minus 14 on both sides. Okay. And then I'm going to bring down the next step. And they have 2x equals 20 minus 14. So they have 6. So this is their first step. This is step 1. Okay. So this 1 indicates it's the first step. In the next step, going to get the answer. So this is a quick equation. X equals 3. Okay. And so I'm going to box it since it's the answer. And what normally happens if you're not too familiar with the steps and what to do, sometimes you don't see an error. You're like, well, that looks good to me. I don't see where the error is. But if you break it down and solve it yourself, you usually take more time and you'll see where the error is. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to skip this for a minute. We're going to rewrite the equation over here, and then we're going to solve it ourselves, showing all the different steps. Okay? So everyone please rewrite the equation I have here. 14 minus 2x equals 20. Okay? And let's go ahead and solve it ourselves. Now, I see they subtracted 14, and I agree. You do have to subtract 14. Hopefully everyone saw that what they did there was correct. Now, what do I have left on this left side? Yeah, negative, but there's a minus, which is actually what they forgot to do. And this is still 6. Do you see the difference? So let's just solve it. Divide by negative 2. And instead of getting 3, the actual answer should be negative 3. All right. So the answer is negative 3 instead of 3, because what happened in step 1? Yeah, didn't do the negative, didn't bring down the negative. Let's write that down. Okay. So in the middle where it says identify the error, I'm going to say in step 1, we could say they because we don't know who they are. They didn't bring down the minus or negative. Yeah, so on the quiz next week, you can expect a problem like this where you have to get the right answer and then explain what they did to get the wrong answer. Okay? So go ahead and write that down. And that's our first error analysis problem. All right. Ready for the next one? Okay, let me just draw a line here to separate these. Okay, 1 is done. Number 2. Okay, so this is number 2. We have 6 take away 2 parentheses x plus 1 equals 12. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, so here's the equation we're going to solve, or this is how they solved it. Okay, so the first step they got was this. They got a 4 parentheses x plus 1 close parentheses equals 12. So that was step 1. The next step was the following. 4x plus 4 equals 12. Okay, that was step 2. Again, we're not showing what we did to get that step, but just the results. All right. The next step is the following. Is step 3. 4x equals 8. And see if you can say, okay, how did they get from here to here? Oh, okay, maybe they subtracted 4 on both sides. I get it. That's what you're supposed to do. That's step 3. Last step, they ended up with 2. X equals 2. Oops. Okay. So that's step 4. And look it over again. If you can't see where the mistake happened, it's a good idea. Solve it yourself. You're going to have to do it anyways. So does anyone have an idea where the mistake happened? Yes. The first step, step 1, what did they do wrong? What should have they? What should? Yeah. So yeah, they should have distributed -2, right? They should have distributed -2. So that was the mistake. You see how they said, oh, 6 minus 2 is 4. But wait a minute. This 6 is a constant. It's just a number being added or subtracted. But this 2, or -2 actually, is a factor, or sometimes we call it a coefficient. It's something that's multiplying something else. So there are 2 different types of numbers. One is a constant, and the other is a coefficient. And we can't subtract something that you should multiply with. Okay? So let's just explain the mistake. In step 1, they subtracted. I'm going to continue the word over here. They subtracted 2 from 6 when they should have distributed -2. Yeah. And I haven't seen that type of mistake very often this year. So that's kudos to you guys. Good job on that. Okay, let's solve it correctly now. 6 minus 2 parentheses x plus 1 equals 12. And if they would have followed, the steps we normally have gone by, distribute, combine on each side, eliminate the variable, etc., they would have caught that mistake. So let's distribute -2. So it's going to be 6 minus 2x, and negative times a positive is -2 equals 12. Okay, there we go. Now we have to combine. Is there anything we can combine?
6 and 1.
Oh, it's a 2, -2.
-2.
You add 6 and -2 and you get 4. So now I'm going to say 4 minus 2x equals 12. Okay, let's get rid of that 4 because it's a constant. And we have -2x equals 8. And then let's divide by -2. And we get x equals 8 divided by -2, -4. So the answer should have been -4. Okay. We have one more that we're going to do. Okay, so this is going to be number 4. All right. So number 3. All right. So this one is 3x minus 2 parentheses x minus 4 equals x minus 6 plus 4. Okay. So that's the original equation. Bless you. In the first step, this is what we get. 3x minus 2x plus 8 equals x minus 6 plus 4. All right. And that's step number 1. Let's take a look. How did they get to that step? What did they do to get that first step? Yeah, did they distribute correctly?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. So it looks like that one's okay. Let's do step number 2 then. Step number 2 is x plus 8 equals x minus 2. So that's step number 2. It looks smaller. It looks like it's less stuff. What did they do to get there?
They did the like terms.
Yeah, they did the like terms. They combined them. Did they do that correctly? Over here, it looks like they did because 3x minus 2x is 1x, so it's x plus 8. And how about on the right side? Minus 6 and 4. Is that minus 2? So they did that one correctly. All right. So far, so good. Number 3. In number 3, what they got was 2x plus 8 equals negative 2. That's step 3. How did they get that? Hmm? That's what I'm asking. What should have happened? We got x plus 8 on the left, x minus 2 on the right, and they end up with 2x. What did they do that's actually wrong?
They didn't complete.
What should have we done? Yeah, we should have subtracted x on both sides, right? Say you want to get rid of this x because you only want x's on the left, you would subtract it here and here. And what happens? They added the x's when they should have subtracted on both sides. Yeah. Well, let's just do the other steps that they did. 2x equals negative 10. That's step 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they got a final answer of 5. Okay? And that's the final answer in step 5. Okay. So I think we know the error happened here in step 3. So let's solve it ourselves. See what the answer should be. Okay. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to rewrite the whole equation. So 3x minus 2 parentheses x minus 4 equals x minus 6 plus 4. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Now, let's distribute because that's what we should have done. So 3x minus 2x plus 8 equals x minus 6 plus 4. That was fine. We agreed with that. Then you combine the like terms. Basically, 3x minus 2 is 1x or just x plus 8. And on the other side, minus 6 and 4 is minus 2. So this is x minus 2. That was correct. Now, what is it that we have to do in this next step?
Combine the like terms.
Well, it's called eliminating the variable on one side, but it is kind of like combining like terms, but it's on opposite sides, so it's not really. We can't say it's combining. It's kind of the same effect. Something makes it smaller. So I'm going to subtract x, but then I have to do that on both sides. And what happens because of that? Yeah, it cancels out, and I do think we have a no solution because on the left we have 8 equals, on the right we have negative 2, and this is false. It's not true that 8 equals negative 2. Therefore, no solution. Yeah, the correct outcome should have been a no solution. All right. So let's fill in the middle. Let's identify the mistake. So in step 3, they what did they do? They ended up with 2x. What did we say that they did incorrectly?
They didn't subtract the x's.
Yeah, they didn't subtract the x's, they added them. They added x plus x when they should have subtracted x's like we did. Okay, so just an explanation of what they did and what they should have done. And you don't even have to say steps, just they added x plus x when they should have subtracted. Would be fine. Okay? So this is what we're going to do today. Error analysis. And I'm going to give you a handout. If there's also a Kami, but I'm going to give you a sheet of this.